So for any of the viewers who've been watching the show on a regular basis, you'll know that I have a very, very deeply seated and very deeply held desire for flying. The desire has never gone away. And I found a way to combine wheels and flying. Now, that way is a thing called paratriking. And if anybody's ever seen the guys and girls who throw themselves off of cliffs and hillsides, where they throw themselves off, they take off into the wind with a harness and a parachute or a wing on them. Now, imagine that, strapping a two-stroke motor to your back. So there's already a link to motors, and on that two-stroke motor is a great big prop, propeller. And you can use that to take off without having to go down a hillside, and once you're really proficient, you can do it without any wind. And if you can imagine taking that backpack with your engine and propeller on the back, strapping it to a trike, now that is paratriking. So I've come to Spain to train with Sky School. Now Sky School are actually a UK-based organisation, but we come to Spain for training because the weather's better. We fly early morning, late afternoon, because you want to avoid all the thermals which come up at their highest during the middle of the day. Now, I'm one of two students who's going to be flying the trikes, and there's a whole bunch of other students doing paramotoring. Can you just tell us a little bit about the history of paramotoring and paratriking, because it's a pretty unusual sport.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. It's definitely not normal. So it comes from paragliding. That started in the Alps in the late 70s, a bunch of crazy French parachutists running off the steep mountain. And then a few years later, a guy modified a lawnmower engine to drive a propeller, put a dodgy harness on it, and yet again took off from a slope and realised when you put the power on, you could actually climb.
Training follows a very clear and logical sequence: basic safety and principles, understanding the harness and wings, practical wing control, flight training, and that has a huge focus on takeoff and landing, because apparently flying is the easy bit. When we first saw the wings, the lines were just a multi-coloured jumble of spaghetti, but we needed to know how to connect the harnesses to them. Tricky when it still looked like spaghetti. In the afternoon, we were down to the beach and putting it all into practice, everything we'd learnt so far. Getting harnessed up and connected, and then the real underlying skill of paramotoring and paratriking, wing control. Facing into the wind, with the wing laid out behind you, you start with a lean forward and a gentle run, the wing comes up behind you, and you fly up like a kite, using your body position and the brake lines that you hold in your hands. Easy? Well, practice will make perfect. The training this morning isn't going to be down at the beach, we're down at the shores of Lake Bornos. The guys behind me just getting the trike out and setting it up, ready for the training. Surrounded by loads of cows. As I was getting ready, I had watched another student and got an important lesson in what happens when you don't get wing control right on the paratrike. It just pulls you straight over. On this occasion, nobody was hurt, thankfully. Sky School have a unique piece of kit for paratrike training, the simulator. Half of a moped on the back of their trike, which pushes you along without taking off and allows the instructor to sit with you. Perfect for learning wing control. Practice makes perfect, and you really learn from it when it goes wrong. Although apparently on this occasion, it wasn't all my fault. Over to Bruce.
Okay, so we've just been doing some running this morning with the paratrike. It's going very well. It's useful to have some video footage to review. We had some slightly asymmetric inflation
probably was maybe a brake line caught on like a stick or something, maybe a tension knot. So wing comes up slightly to the left. It looks like the left brake is being pulled, so I'm thinking it was caught on the grass. And then a slightly overzealous right input brings the glider swinging back to the right side, and that really dynamic motion combined with not killing the engine quick enough creates a bit of a pitching movement in the trike. But straight away after that we killed the engine and disabled the glider, and everything was okay. Not much to say about that one. It was perfect.
Oh well, it's they said, right, well, we're going to get you taxiing, bring the wing up, and if it's going well, you're going to be up in the air. We're going to go for takeoff. And my hands are shaking, my mouth has gone dry. I'm just a little bit pooping myself. Finally, it was time to put everything I had just learnt into practice. Nervous excitement was at 100%, and to say my mouth was like a desert would be doing an injustice to deserts. For the first flight attempt, the instructors set everything up as I sat dry-mouthed in the ParaTrike. The wing came up nicely, it looked stable. I added a little pressure on the brake lines, continued with steady power, and then I let go of the power too quickly when the trike started to lift and the wing collapsed. I was only 95% as nervous as the first time. This was going to be the one. As much as I might have wanted it to, my first flight could not last forever. So after 20 or 25 minutes, it was time to land, which was actually much easier than takeoff. The wing is set to glide at the right descent rate for an easy landing. Just needing a touch of brakes and then a flare, which is your arms coming right down at the very end. That was f***ing amazing.
Graham, congratulations.
I tell you what, nothing prepares you for that. Nothing. Even listening to the guys yesterday got up. I was shaking like a leaf when I started. Do people cry when they go their first flight? I want to reflect on something that one of the instructors said to me yesterday. So I've talked quite a lot about the fact that I had my first flight. I may have cried about that quite a lot. My first solo flight, so yeah, which was amazing. And Rob, one of the instructors, said to me, he said, "You'll never forget your first flight." He said, "There'll always be good flights and incredibly memorable ones, but you'll never forget your first one." And then just as the sun was setting, Graham, let's get the trike ready. And I took off and landed into the most stunning sunset. The astonishing thing here is I was flying solo, admittedly with some help in the ears from the instructors, but I was flying solo in 3 days, and that was incredible. And it was genuinely one of the most emotional experiences of my life. It really genuinely was, and I was in tears when I finished. I feel a bit like that now. So yeah, I achieved what I wanted to coming here. I've flown solo twice, and I will continue with that instruction. Right now, does it feel like a new hobby? My wife will kill me. Another hobby, something will have to go. And the team have been great. Sky School UK, their training has been exemplary. The patience shown by the training team are fabulous. Most of my training, pretty much 100% of it, certainly in terms of kind of ground handling and getting up in the air, was down to Zeb and Bruce, ably supported by Ricardo and Rob and Alex, who owns the company. So guys, all 5 of you, thank you so much. You've helped me achieve something very special. Go on, doing it again.